In this episode of Viral Rewind, we're looking at the Selectron virus for DOS. Now, it's also sometimes called Selectronic, but the file typically goes by the name Selectron. And there's 3 different variants. We're looking at the largest of them, which features encryption and a couple of other capabilities. Now, despite this being October 31st and Halloween, this virus's payload does not activate on the 31st. It, in fact, actually activates whenever the date is Friday the 13th. Which, of course, you can probably guess associates that with some scary movies and stuff like that. Again, this is October. So, if I run select 3, which is the largest one there, let's get the encryption. Error fatal, unsupported display format. Well, that's okay. What this is, that's actually a version of the Norton Editor. Is what it is. That's why it's so large. But I've got the nice 60 Hz refresh program on here, but apparently it doesn't want to run the Norton Editor with that refresh program running, so it's giving me this unsupported display format. Regardless, Selectron is now in memory, and it will infect .com files for sure. May or may not infect .exes, but it will still infect .coms and still be able to load up whenever those infected files are run. So let's look at keyboard. That's 14,198 bytes. One keyboard. This program. And now it's increased to 16,007 bytes. So Selectron has now infected that and added its code to it. And again, there is some encryption capabilities to Selectron, at least with this variant as well. So there's some encrypting and decrypting going on, accessing these files. Let's look at some other .coms. Let's look at mouse. So that's 15,108. And now it's 16,914 after infection. So again, Selectron has infected that as well. Now, again, earlier I said Selectron has a payload that activates whenever it's Friday the 13th of any given month. Now, we don't have a Friday the 13th in October of this year, because if we try it on the computer here, it's actually Saturday. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Selectron does not allow the date to change. Okay, that's right. This version of the Selectron variant, I should also mention, actually disables the computer from being able to change the date. So in order for me to show you the payload, I'm going to have to reboot, reload the 60 Hz, and then get our date changed before we can do it. So let me go ahead and do that here. So I've gone ahead and rebooted the computer back into DOS here, reloaded our nice 60 Hz refresh rate program, and changed the date to October the 13th. But as you can tell from there, it says it's a Tuesday, so we don't have a Friday the 13th in October this year. But we have November coming up, and in November, we have a Friday the 13th in November. So we're good for showing the payload of Selectron with November 13th. So let me go back to temp DOS. Well, that helps if I type it correctly. There we go. And got normal directory listing. And as you know, we affected the keyboard and the mouse.com files. So those files are carrying the Selectron virus and payload with them. So if we were to run mouse or keyboard, or for instance if command.com was infected with Selectron and the date rolled over to Friday the 13th of any given month, you would see this. The countdown to extinction, and fades in the Grim Reaper. And he just walks across the screen. And once he gets to the end, he'll fade out. He fades out. And then he fades back in, going the other direction. So at this point, the keyboard is completely locked out. You can't use ctrl-alt-delete or anything like that. You have to power off the computer and back on to do a cold boot if you want to clear this. But again, if command.com is infected with Selectron, and of course it's Friday the 13th, you'll always get this payload the moment the computer boots up with that infected command.com. So this is pretty much it for the Selectron virus. I'll just leave the payload here for a little bit so you can watch the Grim Reaper himself go back and forth across the screen.